Hello. Needle Droppers, Anthony Fantano here. And this is the video where I talk about my experience seeing the band Sunn. Now, I'm not going to stand up in this video, I'm going to sit down, no jump cuts, no freaky deaky crap. I'm just going to talk about what I experienced and what I saw because I don't want to be too jokey because I just don't want to take away from the detail and the justice that I want to give to this show, even though I know there's really nothing I can say that will be as descriptive and as life-changing as the real thing. When Earth was done playing, everybody went crazy. Everybody kind of wanted an encore from them, but you know, we were on very strict time limitations. And once Earth cleared everything off the stage, and they set up everything for Sunn the way that they needed it, in terms of amplifiers and just clearing the floor. They dimmed the lights. Everybody went crazy because they thought Sunn was going to come out and just pummel everybody. But no, this music started playing, this very ambient, very creepy chanting music, and all they did was turn on the fog machines. Now, this place where they were playing, the Brooklyn Masonic Temple, huge room. So they literally fogged the room for over 30 minutes. They just had the fog machines running and this music playing for over 30 minutes, just fog. And my friend and I were in the front row, right up against the stage. So we were just getting faces full of fog over and over and over, and there were points where he was right next to me, you know, nothing in between us, and I couldn't see him, you know, I couldn't see the people around me at some points, you know, just constantly breathing in fog, and I kind of think, like, all the fog was the reason that I never got dehydrated, like, just watching Sunn, because they played for over 2 hours, if not just at 2 hours. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure, if they didn't. Yeah, I think they played just around 2 hours. So these fog machines were going. I was just kind of breathing in all this fog, just kind of like, you know, there were people around me joking, and I was joking with them. We're like, oh man, all this fog, you know, oh, need more fog, you know, and everybody thought it was really funny, you know, and then some came out, everybody was going crazy, and I had my earplugs in, thank God, you know, I had earplugs. And the first chord that they hit was like, it was like your entire body was in a vibrating chair, you know, but it's like usually in a vibrating chair it's kind of all concentrated on your back, you know, it's like, imagine if like every part of your body is just going, and you know, it's just like, it was the loudest thing I've ever experienced. Like, I've seen Jucifer twice, and they made what Jucifer does. If you've ever seen Jucifer or looked them up, you know that they tour with this really big wall of amplifiers. Sunn had like a third, if not like, you know, probably around maybe half of those cabinets and amplifiers, and they made what Jucifer does look like a bad joke. They made Jucifer look like a bad joke. And the thing is, it's quality over quantity. If you've ever seen Jucifer live, all their cabinets are garbage, and all their amps are garbage too. Sunn has 7 Model Ts, tube amplifiers, and they are bone-crushing. It's truly an experience, and I could see why so many people just don't get it when they go on YouTube and they, you know, say, oh, this is music, oh, what is this? Like, they would not be saying that if they were standing where I was standing. Everybody around me was just really still, and that was kind of a trip, because it was difficult for me personally to stay still, and it was like really hard. I was trying to keep it together. Just all the vibrations coming through me, it was kind of like I was having a hard time standing. I just felt like really tired. Like standing up was really tiring. And I was just kind of like, I was like trying to find a way to stand, and like I was just like squirming, trying to find just like a position to be comfortable. And there were moments when I was just bending over and I was like just like taking a deep breath, because like standing up, I felt like I was running. It didn't feel like speakers out there blasting sound to me. It felt like there was something inside here shaking everything, and like from my front to my back, and like my head. And the thing is, it was kind of like, and I'm saying this is for me personally. The thing is that people around me, I didn't see them reacting quite this way. I saw like variations of it, just variations. It was kind of like being or breathing in anesthetic, and you're like just about to go under, and you're like lulling, and you're like, no, keep it together. And I was like, that's honestly what I feel like it was like, because mentally, for the most part, I felt there. Like I couldn't hold together coherent thoughts, or I couldn't keep my mind on one subject for too long, because I would be like thinking about trying to keep it together, and then I'd be looking at Attila, and I'd be looking at Sunn, and they're just like really being a trip. I was having difficulty just standing up straight. I was having difficulty like keeping my mouth closed. I kept finding my mouth like, and then I'd have to like close it and swallow my spit, and then I'd just like, I'd be like this at attention, and then I'd just like go back to like still watching, still experiencing, but like still go dead face. I can imagine this to be like drugs, because you're sort of like losing control because of the sound. You're losing control of just how your body regulates itself and how your body feels, because to a point, after you're experiencing that massive of a sound for such a long period of time, a lot of parts of your body just become kind of numb. It's kind of like hard to feel that they're there. It's kind of like everything is just being shaken, really, not violently, but to a point where it's something you can't ignore. I've played the Earth records really loud. I've played the Sunn records as loud as I could, as possible on my big stereo, or in the car, or whatever, and and I've dabbled in making extremely loud drone music myself. However, there was no possible way I could conceive of how loud it was going to be. I thought I might have had an idea. I knew what it was going to sound like, and I knew what Sunn was going to try to do sonically. However, I didn't know how it was going to make me feel, and I didn't know how it was going to affect me physically, and I didn't know it was going to be that intense. I thought it was going to kind of be like just this thing to hear, and probably not be as loud as how Earth played, but oh my god, it was just like, oh, it was so loud. Now, I know all this stuff about how I'm feeling, and how the music affected me in the live show may not sound like the peachiest thing. It may not sound like the most, the greatest thing. I mean, a lot of people who are outside of this whole drone music thing may perceive this as like, oh man, that doesn't sound very pleasant. That doesn't sound like something I want to see. That doesn't sound like something good that I would pay for. But really, I would argue that it affects everyone differently. Just like, I mean, it obviously affected everyone differently around me. Because I remember when the show was over, so many people just turned around and walked away, and I was kind of like making very small steps. As I expected, that show is in like my top 10 shows of all time. And I would have to sit down and think, like, what was the most entertaining show to me. I mean, I haven't sat down and said that, but whether or not Sunn is number one or not, it's something I'm not ever going to forget. It's like, it would be impossible to forget that. Even if you're not into Sunn, I would highly advocate seeing them, just because it may make you realize that their music really is an experience as opposed to notes and shit like that. And just the experience in general is something to kind of behold
you know, just as an experience with anything is something to behold. It's just something different. Is it the best thing you'll ever see? Is it the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world? Will you be telling your grandchildren about it? I don't know. All I'm saying is that it's different. And when you go see it, when you go experience it and hear it, and most importantly, feel it, the first thing you'll recognize is that whether or not it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you, it is unlike anything that has happened to you. And that's pretty much all I can say about it.
There you go.